Thank you. He told me I had 5 minutes. I told him I'm going to give him 3 back. I was called last night about 10:30 and asked if I would come and stand in for B Branch. And foolishly, I said yes. And after I got here, the young lady told me, said, "You're on panel." Well, Eve made Adam defy God, so he got away with it. So one more woman fooling a man is not bad. But I was real pleased to be here, especially with those young people after hearing Judge Gibbs and Mike Espy kind of charge my clock. And we just want to thank you for inviting us to participate. I got a chance to see my friend, Brother Stamps, again. The NAACP, as you well know, have had good and strong leaders. They came in at a time when we were trying to do away with poll tax, repeating the Constitution in order to vote, sitting at counters, getting our head beat, going to jail, trying to get our civil rights. Well, all those things have been accomplished. So what do you expect out of the NAACP now? You've got a new organization. And I want to tell you that we are not going to be putting as much emphasis on civil rights as we're going to be putting on ourselves. We think the big problem is going to be with us. So we're going to keep one eye on civil rights, and we're going to be working on us. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but it's a habit. What we repeatedly do becomes a habit. And if you do it long enough, you can get excellent with it. Example, Michael Jordan. He played basketball, he practiced basketball, he practiced basketball, and he practiced basketball, and he got so he could hang in the air and change the ball in one hand and do it like nobody else could do it. We're going to have to do that same thing with us. Martin Luther King dreamed that someday the African American would be judged by the content of his character and not the color of his skin. You just saw an example of that today. Mike Espy was the first one, to my knowledge, that was endorsed, campaigned for by white elected officials. Normally the blacks are the ones who pass out cards for the other officials. But now it wasn't just Mike, it was Mike had proven himself. He had prepared himself. And he had something to offer. So that is an example to all of us. If you do what we need to do, get prepared, then your day will come. He mentioned the opportunities, they're going to be there. Habits are powerful factors in our lives because they are consistent, often unconscious patterns. They constantly, daily express our character and produce our effectiveness. If we define habit as the intersection of knowledge, skill, and desire, got to have all three of them together. Knowledge then takes care of what to do and why. Skill is the know-how to do, and desire is the motivation, the want to do. In order to make something about habits in our lives or organization, we must have all three: knowledge, skill, and desire. And if we are to change as a group, as a race, and change we must, real change must come from within. Quick fixes and handouts won't do it. We must get to the root of the fabrics of our thoughts, the fundamental essentials which give definition to our character and create the lens through which we see the world. African Americans, we must support strong welfare reform. Welfare as we have it now is just about as effective as sharecropping was for poor whites and poor blacks. It keeps them right in trenches and they can never get out. We must support a strong health system. We must also support restitution from deadbeat dads and I'm talking about us now. There are too many of them who are not doing what they're supposed to do. Now, these are the things that the NAACP is going to be focusing on. The Negro must learn to put first things first. The first things are, in this order, education, development of character traits, a trade, and home ownership. The Negro must stop expecting God and folks to do for him what he can do for himself. And I take that from the Bible. John 5:8, when he met the man with his bed, he cured him. He couldn't cure himself, God could. But after he cured him, he told him, pick up your bed and walk. He could have sent that bed out, but we're going to have to do for ourselves. The Negro must learn to dress more appropriately for work and for leisure. The Negro must keep himself, his children, and his home clean and make the surroundings in which he lives comfortable and attractive. The Negro must make his religion an everyday practice and not just a Sunday go-to-meeting emotional affair. We do it up on Sunday inside the four walls, but after we leave there, that's about the end of it. The Negro must highly resolve to wipe out mass ignorance. The leaders of the race must teach and inspire the masses to become eager, to determine to improve mentally, morally, and spiritually, and to meet the basic requirements of good citizenship. He should initiate an intensive literary campaign in America as well as in Africa. Ignorance, satisfied ignorance, is a milestone about the necks of the race. It is democracy's greatest burden. The Negro must stop charging his failure upon the color and not the white people's attitude. The truth of the matter is that good service and good conduct will make senseless race prejudice fade like mist before the rising sun. The Negro must overcome his bad job habits. Now, some of these you're probably not going to like, but our problem is with us. The Negro must improve the conduct in public places. The Negro must learn how to operate business for people, not just for Negro people. Most of our black businesses will set it up just for blacks, and 50% is already excluded. If you got something that everybody wants, they'll come get it. The average so-called educated Negro will have to come down out of the air. Many of us are too inflated over nothing. We need to experience similar to the one that Ezekiel had. And we must do what Ezekiel did. And if you don't know, read chapter 3, verse 14 through 21. And you'll find the masses of the people are going to have to move. Now, just because you've arrived and you've made it, and you ignore the masses, the blood is in your hand. And finally, a race rises on its own wings or is held down by its own weight. We are hoping that in the NAACP this year, that these are the issues and the things that we're going to be focusing on, along with civil rights. Along with civil rights goes a duty, and we have a duty to ourselves to change the habits so that we can be an asset. When I say we, I'm talking about masses now. I know some of us have arrived, but I'm talking about the masses because we normally are judged on the masses. Thank you.